Hey guys, before I continue, I'd like to mention our sale over at Fantasy Sabers. With every order, we're giving away a free electronic light up stand. Sale ends at the end of March. Back to the video. What if Anakin had visions of his defeat on Mustafar? Let's start this story the night Anakin returns to Coruscant from defeating Dooku and saving Chancellor Palpatine. He spent the night with Padme, the first time they've been together in months after the Outer Rim sieges. However, that night, when Anakin goes to sleep, his mind is overwhelmed by the Force with a vision of the future. Instead of seeing Padme on the hospital bed, Anakin sees himself on fire, screaming in agony with Obi-Wan looking down at him.
You are my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
The vision ends and his eyes snap open. He wakes up panting. This vision disturbed him deeply, a similar vision of that of his mother years ago. Could this be the future? But if this is the future, then something is terribly wrong. Anakin started to obsess over these visions, questions how and why he would end up fighting Obi-Wan. He would wonder, does Obi-Wan betray him, or does he betray Obi-Wan? In what scenario would he and Obi-Wan fight? He practically raised him, he's his best friend, his brother. But deep down he knew the answer. His eyes in the vision were filled with hate and despair. What could have driven him into that state? He needed answers and decided to seek out the wisdom of Grand Master Yoda. They both sit in his meditation chamber as he tells Yoda of his terrible dreams that he's having. Yoda studies Anakin for a moment, his ears twitching as he closes his eyes.
A vision of the future you have seen, but the future, always in motion, it is.
It was real, Master. I was there, screaming in pain. I was broken. If this is my destiny, I have to stop it.
But Yoda shakes his head firmly.
Stop it, will you? Careful you must be. Fixated on avoiding the future. Create that reality you may.
But this wasn't good enough for Anakin. He had to do something. However, over the next couple of days was when Palpatine started his endgame on Anakin. His final set of manipulations. First, he created anger towards the Jedi, appointing Anakin to be his personal representative on the Jedi Council, knowing they wouldn't make Anakin a master, which turned Anakin against the Jedi and only increased his frustration with the Council. Anakin always believed they were holding him back, hiding secrets of the Force, and now he believed that they didn't trust him. In the original timeline, Palpatine knew of Anakin's dreams of Padme and used this to manipulate him to the dark side. However, in this timeline, when he searched Anakin's mind with the Force, he saw the visions he was having of his defeat at Obi-Wan's hands. This puzzled Palpatine. Firstly, he couldn't let Anakin be defeated since he needed Darth Vader to help establish his empire. But secondly, he decided he could use this in a unique way to manipulate Anakin to his side and turn him against Obi-Wan. A task he knew would be difficult, but necessary. Palpatine decided to create the scenario in Anakin's mind that his pregnant wife was potentially having an affair with his best friend Obi-Wan. Because Anakin was Palpatine's representative on the council, they spent a lot of time together and he had ample opportunity to do so. After Palpatine meets with the delegation of 2000 and hears their proposal to Palpatine led by Padme. After they leave, Palpatine proclaims to Anakin that they cannot be trusted, that they're in fact conspiring against him. But Anakin assures Palpatine that Senator Amidala can be trusted. But Palpatine isn't so sure, telling Anakin that she's been spotted having early morning meetings with the Jedi, a Jedi in fact that he knows quite well. This confused Anakin. Why would Padme be meeting with a Jedi who wasn't him? Palpatine then brings up concerns about the Jedi using the war to take over the Republic, and he has started to fear that they've been gaining support from many senators, including Senator Amidala. Anakin asks which Jedi was spotted meeting with Padme in the early hours, to which Palpatine responds, Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, telling Anakin that rumor has it their relationship is more than just friends. Anakin was speechless, completely caught off guard, not knowing what to think. Could Padme be conspiring with the Jedi to take over the Republic? And could they be romantically intertwined? No, surely not. And he doesn't fully believe it yet, But to further Anakin's anger towards Obi-Wan, Palpatine tells Skywalker to report the location of General Grievous on Utapau to the Jedi Council, and that he personally believes that he should go. Anakin does this. However, the Council deny that Anakin should go, and instead delegate Kenobi to go instead. This angered Anakin. Of course the Council didn't trust him, and once again Obi-Wan was favored over him. Anakin returns to Palpatine's office after the meeting to report the outcome. Kenobi will go to Utapau, not him.
The Council doesn't trust you, Anakin. It truly pains me to see. We can only hope he's up to the challenge.
But Palpatine inside was happy. He could feel Anakin's anger rising, especially towards Obi-Wan. Palpatine decides to press on this nerve. He tells Anakin that his spies again have spotted Padme with Jedi Kenobi and asks Anakin whether they've told him about any of it. Of course Anakin denies this, which Palpatine then uses to manipulate him.
Pity. I thought they were your two closest friends. Miss Amidala confides in Obi-Wan, but not you. It's unfair, isn't it? They've been spending a lot of time together lately, haven't they? I wonder what it is.
What reason could that be?
They are hiding something from you. Perhaps Master Kenobi and Senator Amidala are romantically involved and are keeping it from you for whatever reason.
Anakin didn't answer, his mind racing around in circles. How could Palpatine suggest this? Padme couldn't, not his Padme. But could she? Palpatine didn't need Anakin to say anything. He simply sensed his anger rising, and rising fast. Anakin decided to go home that evening, but as he walked in, he sensed a familiar presence. Obi-Wan. Why was Obi-Wan in his home only hours earlier? Palpatine must have been right. They must have been meeting here in secret. 30 minutes later, when Padme returns, Anakin confronts her about it, asking why Obi-Wan was here. But Padme simply tells Anakin that he dropped by this morning to express his concerns about him, that Obi-Wan feels as if Anakin's been extra stressed lately. This angered Anakin, Padme so easily brushing off this lie. They were conspiring against the Senate together. Palpatine's spies have confirmed it. How could she lie to him that easily? He left and decided to stay at the Jedi Temple that night, but he barely slept. He started to wonder whether Padme's children are really his. Could she really be having an affair with Obi-Wan, and could he be the real father? The most important thing to Anakin is loyalty, and the two most important people in his life are betraying him. The next morning he goes to Palpatine and decides to tell him the truth of his visions. Palpatine had expected Anakin would do this, and instead of questioning the truth of the visions like Yoda did, he validated them, telling Anakin that the Force has granted him insight into the future, and although a grim reality, it has warned him of the dangers so that he can stop it. He tells Anakin to open his eyes. It's as clear as day. The Jedi will betray him. They fear his power. Even his closest friend Obi-Wan will not stand by him, but against him with his other close friend Padme. Anakin shakes his head.
Obi-Wan wouldn't. Not after all these years.
Anakin, wouldn't he? The Jedi are already turning against you. You are loyal to your friends first and foremost. But what about Obi-Wan? Do you think he'll prioritize you or the Jedi first?
Anakin knows the answer.
I care about you, son. I am loyal to you as you are to me. But those around you don't share that sentiment. Tell me, Anakin. If the Jedi saw you as an enemy, which I sincerely believe they do you truly believe Obi-Wan would stand with you? Or would he strike you down as in your vision?
Anakin couldn't argue with what Palpatine was saying, and he's wholeheartedly convinced of the fact. He decides to go home in the afternoon, but the sight in front of him as he opens the door to his home was not one he could believe. He opens the door to see Obi-Wan and Padme standing there together.
What are you doing here?
Obi-Wan slightly twitched at the harsh tone.
I came to say goodbye, Anakin. I leave to Utapau shortly.
But Anakin's anger rose. It took all of his strength not to attack him here and now. Was he here to say goodbye to him or to Padme? Palpatine was right. He was right about everything. Anakin turns and leaves.
Goodbye to both of you.
a hint of pain in his voice.
Anakin?
But he was gone. Obi-Wan and Padme looked at each other confused.
You must take care of him, Padme. Something's not right. I can feel it. He needs your support.
Anakin attended the Jedi Council meeting later that day as the conversation veered towards Palpatine. Windu told Anakin that what was to be discussed next was to be kept from Palpatine's ears. Ki-Adi-Mundi stated that with Grievous's death inevitable, the Clone War will be over soon and they'll potentially have to take over the Senate to ensure that Palpatine gives up his emergency powers. Scatters of agreement were passed all around, and after the council meeting, Anakin met with Palpatine as he normally does, and went against Mace Windu's wishes, detailing how the council expressed their desire to take over the Senate.
You've heard it yourself, Anakin. The Jedi wish to move against me, and no doubt they'll move against you too. They see us as a threat. They will paint you as a danger, as a threat to their order, and when they do, they will send Kenobi. Visions of the mind hardly ever lie.
Anakin nods.
Then you must be prepared, my friend.
Palpatine goes on to explain that they will send Kenobi because he's the perfect counter for Anakin. He's trained with him all of his life and knows his combat style better than anyone, and more so, how to counter it. Plus, he's a master of Form 3, a direct opposite to his aggressive Form 5. Obi-Wan might be the only Jedi who could confront him. Now Anakin realizes his death at Obi-Wan's hand is partially due to the Jedi, but also to the fact that he must want Padme all for himself. Anakin has lost everything, and the two closest people to him have betrayed him. He must act before he loses anything else, and Palpatine offers Anakin a way to change his fate. He tells Anakin that something must change if he's to defeat Obi-Wan and alter the vision.
You have seen the future, but it is not set in stone. With the power I offer you, you can reshape your fate.
Anakin swallows.
How? What must I do?
You must embrace your destiny, my apprentice. The Jedi will betray you. Kenobi will betray you, but I never will. The only way to ensure your survival is to embrace the dark side of the Force.
How can I learn?
My boy, I can teach you. My master taught me everything about the Force, and I shall pass its knowledge on to you.
And in this moment, Palpatine stops concealing his presence in the Force, and Anakin feels it hit him like a Star Destroyer exiting hyperspace. Palpatine's power was intense, and Anakin couldn't believe it.
All this time?
Yes, Anakin, you must understand why I had to keep my true abilities hidden. The Jedi would have executed me for doing absolutely nothing wrong or illegal.
I agree. They would never have allowed your existence.
Together, Anakin, we can defend against the Jedi's tyranny if you become my apprentice.
Yes, my master.
Anakin gets on one knee as henceforth he proclaimed to be none other than Darth Vader. Anakin rises, now Vader, and Palpatine executes Order 66 as they set in motion the final stages of the grand plan. Darth Vader and Darth Sidious stood beside each other at the steps of the Jedi Temple, whilst the clones of the 501st stood behind them. Palpatine placed a hand on Vader's shoulder.
This is the moment, my apprentice. The Jedi will fall, and you will rise, a master of the dark side. Powerful enough to defeat Kenobi. Embrace your anger. Feel the dark side.
Vader ignited his blade as they stepped forward. The temple doors opened as the massacre began. The Jedi Temple became a battlefield. Vader moved with ruthless efficiency, cutting down Jedi Knights and younglings alike. Each strike of his blade was fueled by the betrayal he felt, by the Council, by Obi-Wan and Padme. The dark side surged through him, amplifying his power with each life he extinguished. Palpatine watched from the shadows, a sinister smile on his face. As Vader fought, he began to hear whispers in the Force, voices of the Sith Lord who had come before him. He felt invincible, unstoppable, as the vision of his defeat on Mustafar now seemed distant, a future he was determined to rewrite. Together, Vader and Palpatine strode deeper into the temple as they came across their next opponents. Windu defended the inner sanctum, the training quarters, as around him lay the bodies of fallen clones, but his eyes narrowed as Vader and Palpatine entered the chamber.
Skywalker, I should have known you were behind this. You've betrayed everything the Jedi stands for.
Anakin brought forward his lightsaber.
The Jedi betrayed me first. They conspired against the Republic. Against me. I'm doing what must be done.
Windu's gaze shifted to Palpatine.
And you, Sidious? Your reign of terror ends here.
Palpatine chuckled as his voice dripped with malice.
You're outnumbered, Master Windu. Surrender, and I will grant you a quick death.
Windu's response was a swift strike, his blade clashing against Vader's. The two engaged in a ferocious duel, their lightsabers a blur of motion. Windu's mastery of Form 7, Vapod, allowed him to channel his inner darkness, but Vader, fueled by the dark side and growing hatred, matched him blow for blow. Palpatine also pressed forward, and as two of them attacked, Windu could only simply defend. Finally, Vader saw an opening, and with a powerful strike, he disarmed Windu, sending the Jedi Master's lightsaber skittering across the floor. As Palpatine rushed in and thrust his crimson blade directly into his heart. Together, Vader and Palpatine moved back towards the foyer, sensing their victory was near. But there was one more obstacle next. Obi-Wan had returned from Utapau to find the temple in ruins as he rushed inside to the clones obliterating the Jedi. But what he ran into next would be his greatest nightmare. Anakin stood across from him, blade drawn, eyes yellow, with Palpatine standing next to him with his crimson blade.
Obi-Wan, I've been waiting for you.
Kenobi's eyes widened as he took in the scene before him.
Anakin, what have you done? What I had to do. The Jedi betrayed me. You betrayed me.
Obi-Wan shook his head.
This isn't you, Anakin. The dark side has clouded your judgment. You must see reason.
Vader's grip on his lightsaber tightened.
Reason? The only thing I see is the truth. You and Padme conspired against me. You took everything from me.
Obi-Wan's confusion was evident.
Padme? Anakin, I don't know what you're talking about. I would never betray you. Liar!
Vader roared, launching himself at Obi-Wan. The two engaged in a fierce duel, their lightsabers clashing with the ferocity born of years of training. Obi-Wan's mastery of Form 3 Sorsu allowed him to hold his own against Vader's aggressive Form 5, but the dark side gave Vader an edge. Palpatine watched from the sidelines, his voice a constant reminder in Vader's mind.
Finish him, my apprentice. He is the key to your vision. Destroy him, and your future will be secure.
The fight moved through the temple, each strike bringing them closer to the edge of the building. Finally, they found themselves on a high platform, the cityscape of Coruscant stretching out before them. Obi-Wan was battered and exhausted, and he knew that he couldn't win. But he also knew he couldn't let Vader continue down this path.
Anakin,
His voice pleading.
don't do this. I love you like a brother. Don't let the dark side consume you.
Vader hesitated. A flicker of doubt crossed his face. But Palpatine's voice cut through the moment.
Kill him, Vader. Prove your loyalty to the dark side.
With a final desperate cry, Vader struck. Obi-Wan raised his blade to block, but the force of the blow sent him stumbling back. He lost his footing and fell from the platform, his body disappearing into the depths below. Vader stood at the end, his breathing heavy and his heart racing. He had done it. He had defeated Obi-Wan. The vision of his defeat on Mustafar was now no more. He had rewritten the future. Palpatine approached and placed a hand on Vader's shoulder.
You have done well, my apprentice. The Jedi are at last no more. Together we shall rule the galaxy.
In the weeks following the purge of the Jedi Temple, Palpatine moved swiftly to consolidate his power. The Republic was reorganized into the First Galactic Empire, with Palpatine declaring himself Emperor. Systems that resisted were swiftly brought to heel by the might of the Imperial Navy and the newly christened Darth Vader, who became the Emperor's enforcer. However, something Vader hadn't expected was that Padme had gone into hiding. After learning of Anakin's betrayal and his role in the Jedi Purge, she was devastated. Bail Organa and Mon Mothma convinced her that she and her children were in grave danger and that Palpatine and Anakin would no doubt come for them. Reluctantly, Padme agreed to disappear. She was taken to a remote world, far from the reaches of the Empire, where she could safely give birth. There, in a hidden sanctuary, she delivered twins, a boy and a girl. She named them Luke and Leia. But Padme's heart ached for Anakin. Despite everything he had done, she still believed there was good in him. She couldn't accept that the man she loved was truly lost to the dark side. She tells Bail that she has to try. She has to try and reach him, and if she talks with him, maybe she can bring him back. But Bail told Padme it was too dangerous. Anakin is no longer the man she knew. He's Darth Vader, and warns Padme that if she goes to him, Vader will either turn her over to Palpatine or worse. But Padme was resolute. She left the sanctuary and went to Coruscant. Using her knowledge of the Senate's inner workings, she managed to slip past Imperial security and reach the Imperial Palace. She found Vader in the throne room, standing alone, his back turned to her. She cried out his name, and as Vader turned, his yellow eyes widened in shock. Padme proclaimed that she had to see him, had to know if the rumors she'd heard were true. Vader's expression hardened as he told Padme it wasn't safe for her to be here. But Padme told him nothing is safe anymore, that the galaxy is in chaos and he's helping the man who caused it. Vader's fists clenched. He stated that he did what he had to do. The Jedi betrayed him, Obi-Wan betrayed him, and even she betrayed him as well. Together, he and Palpatine have brought order to the galaxy. But Padme screamed at him. Order through oppression and fear. She yells that he's changed, that he's no longer the man she fell in love with. But Anakin clapped back, telling her that she's changed as well. She betrayed him and conspired with his best friend Obi-Wan. But that no longer matters, he's long dead. Padme can't believe it, and she takes a couple of steps back. But as she does this, Anakin notices her belly has shrunk.
Our children, where are they? Tell me, Padme.
But she shook her head, demanding that he doesn't let him bring their children into this darkness.
You're hiding them from me, from their father. You think you can keep them from me?
But she yells back that she's protecting them from Palpatine and himself. But Anakin was too far gone. In a fit of rage, he reaches out with the Force, his hand closing around Padme's throat. She gasped, her hands clawing at the invisible grip as she was lifted off the ground. She was quickly slammed back to the ground, and Vader walked off with only one thing in his mind: his children. He told Palpatine about what had happened, and together they decided they must be found and brought to them. Together, they can train them in the ways of the Sith. Using the Empire's vast resources, they discovered that Bail Organa, Padme's closest ally, had snuck her off Coruscant, and thus, he must have the twins. Vader and Palpatine moved swiftly, raiding Bail's home on Alderaan and finding the twins. Bail is executed for his crimes, and the twins are brought back to Coruscant to live in the Imperial Palace. With Luke and Leia in their grasp, Palpatine and Vader begin to shape the future of the galaxy. Though young, they showed immense potential in the Force. The galaxy was theirs. The Sith would rule, likely forever now. As Vader stood by Palpatine's side, he couldn't shake the feeling that his vision of defeat had not been averted. It had merely taken a different form. Thank you all for watching today's video. Please check out our saber shop, Fantasy Sabers, where you can get your very own NeoPixel saber for an affordable price and fulfill your childhood dreams of becoming a Jedi or Sith. Also check out our membership platform to be able to watch our videos early, and may the Force be with you.